Hi, I'm Zachary Phillips, mentor at the Breaking Boxes 3-day immersion at Lake Glenmaggie, Central Gippsland, Victoria, from the 13th to the 15th of October, 2023.
Hey, I'm Amrita Bradley. I'm the event creator for Breaking Boxes, and today I have with me Zach Phillips. Zach is one of the most brilliant poets and writers that I've met in recent times. No, you are. No, don't be shy about it, Zach. You are brilliant. Anyway, so Zach has agreed to come along to the Breaking Boxes event, Lake Glenmaggie at Central Gippsland, Victoria, from the 13th to the 15th of October. One of the mentors, along with Sage and Taylor, who you'll meet later on. And we have got Zach is just, I love Zach. He's such a man. He's such a man's man. He's such a warrior, but he's got such a most beautiful, gentle heart and the most beautiful way of expressing himself. I'm so impressed with Zach. So anyway, I had to get him to come along to this event and be a mentor. So Zach, can you tell us a little bit about your why? Why do you do what you do?
Okay, so I do a variety of different things, and I've been sort of searching for my why. And I realized that as I circle around this sort of creative mental health journey discovery, I'm trying to sort of piece together who and what I am. I've had a troubled past. My father was an addict, a drug dealer. I moved out of home at 16, pretty tumultuous. And that left me sort of struggling for survival. The older I got, the more safer I felt, but then I'm sort of dealing with past trauma, past issues, and sort of importantly, a lack of understanding of who and what I am. And this is speaking to this why. It's I realized the why of myself is to, well, I have to heal. I have to learn who and what I am. And in that process, I was searching for different approaches to healing, to recovery. And that took me into martial arts. It took me into self-improvement, into meditation, and then finally into writing. I've written a collection of different genres, but the one that sort of sticks with me and the one that I do quite naturally, that I find quite a lot of response to, is poetry. I've got this idea that, like I'm a massive advocate of therapy, medication, whatever you need to do. But if we look at writing as a form of therapy, the page listens. It doesn't judge. It's always available. It's practically free. It has a perfect memory, and it's there for you. You can discard it. You can ritualistically burn it, or you can share it. So poetry just comes. I share it externally, and I start feeling benefits and healing. The act of sharing, people start resonating with my words, and then they start saying like, "Hey, I've had similar experiences." They start sharing and growing, and it's sort of like, "Oh, we're not so alone." um we Mental illness sort of puts you inside yourself, right? And all of these little anxieties and issues and pains and stuff that only you see. Once you start sharing, expressing it, you realize like, okay, my trauma and my issues is mine alone, but my like other people have had similar experiences, not my experiences but similar, and the impact upon our lives is similar. I struggle with social anxiety. I struggle with bouts of depression, a whole variety of different issues. And if I can express that and explain that, people are relating to it. They're like, oh, I feel that as well. I see that. I've got that. And it makes them feel validated. So it's this sort of dual process of me writing to heal and sharing to connect, help other people to heal. And it's also a form of creative expression. So it's sort of like a connection of all of these different dots, if that makes sense.
Yeah, now you've almost touched on my next question, Zach. So my next question is the whole event is called Breaking Boxes, and I wanted to hear from you what you think, or how you describe the box. So what is the box?
We are products of our past, right? Products of our past crossed with our genes. Our genes give us the potential of how big we're going to get to, and our past sort of puts us where we are. And I believe we do have choice and free will in the matter, but we have to choose to sort of push ourselves to reach that potential. This is a bit of a roundabout way of saying that a lot of the stuff, or a lot of the ways that I view the world and that we all view the world, is a product of the past. How you view friendships often forms in school. What makes a good friend? You're throwing back to your past high schools. What feels like love is typically what you were seeing from your parents, for good or bad, right? What talk about making money, talk about interacting in social groups, in any of these sort of senses, our past sort of guide that and trap us. And, for me, having not had the best past, that box is kind of scary. It's in some places with neglect, it's ill defined, like it, being trapped by our upbringings, for lack of a better expression, by society. It's not just your parents, it's sort of the whole system. And that makes, the job of parents, society, education, religion, all of those things is to create a, quote unquote functional society. But if you've had issues in your past, which most, if not all of us have, we're left with some aspects that we find ourselves trapped in and unable to sort of move because we're inside this little box, but the world is far bigger. So in terms of breaking boxes, my interpretation of this is, if we can understand the trap, if we can understand the box, if we can take it out of our head, for me, it's onto the page and go, oh, okay, I see my the way that I view the world. I can see my patterns. I can see how when someone speaks to me in a certain way, my inner judgment goes boom, and just makes assumptions that aren't necessarily true. That's all the box that I would love to be able to open up and break.
So you're saying is that inner dialogue now, not necessarily true inner dialogue, but it's an inner dialogue that you've either experienced or taught yourself to believe. But we're also saying that, whether you're aware that there's a box or there isn't a box, there's certainly a feeling that goes with that. So, a lot of the people I've spoken to about, what their challenges and desires are, they're saying, look, there's a stuckness, there's more for me, there's more in life, but, I've got this job and I've got a family to support and I've only got so much time and so much income and so much energy. And, this box, I know it keeps me stuck. And I know that there's a lot of suffering that goes on in the box and I do want to break out. But, it's comfortable in here. I like it hurts, but I like the box because at least I know where the boundaries are and I know what I can and can't do. And
it's a comfortable rut.
Outside the box, there could be all this awesome stuff as well. But, yeah, look, it's kind of scary because then I've got to go and face all this new stuff and, meet new people and, look at things differently. And that's a whole challenge in itself. But I think there's an absolute beauty in taking those challenges on and saying, yeah, okay, there's me here, but there's so much more out there, so much more potential and beauty that I can access. And really, I think that's kind of like why we're here. We're here to have these experiences. What's the point in living if we just stay in our little box?
I look at self-improvement in general as a matter of functionality. Whatever you do should improve your functionality. And by functionality, I mean it allows you to work more, socialize more, better health, exercise. Like you're improving in functionality. So if you're taking writing for an example, and it allows you to process things, it allows you to be less stuck, it allows you to accept more opportunities, etc., then it's helpful to you.
We were talking a little bit before about social awkwardness. I think this is something that a lot of people feel. Can you talk to social awkwardness and how writing might help that?
Well, I just got sent a review from someone that speaks exactly to this. So she basically messaged me saying, like, I've read your book and this is the review I wrote. So I'll read it to you, and obviously, like, feel free to do with this as you like, but it speaks to this exact thing. She said, reading this collection of work is like finding out you're not as alone in your struggles, experiences, and feelings as you think you are. Certain poems made me feel as though I found a long lost twin. I had many moments where reading this where I thought, wow, this is exactly how this feels. Someone actually gets it. His poem, A Page to Listen, has a stanza that just gutted me because it's the thought that I've often had about my own journal and life. It reads, when I had nothing else, I had a pen to speak and a page to listen. Humans are social creatures, and like a lot of mental health issues, they could really be helped with a strong sense of community with like-minded people. So I feel this collection of work is adding to that sense of community by showing the reader they aren't alone in their struggles, in their life experiences, and they're not as isolated as they think they are. She goes on to talk about how book isn't a substitution for people and that sort of stuff, but share, like, so there's two different ways that I can answer this question. The one part of it is you write and you share and you express, and you can get community. For example, like this person has found in my mind, in my words, she doesn't feel it's alone. It's causing her to reach out. She could choose to share that poetry with other people, and if they connect with it, now they're talking over a shared experience. That's the sort of that you can sort of play that. And I suppose the other way to play it is internally, if you're just doing it for yourself, not sharing. It's like your own writing. Yeah. If you're writing for yourself, you're starting to detach from the stuff that's in your mind. You're seeing the box, to use our terminology here, right? And when you see, when you're in the box, you're sort of in this sort of maybe this panic state, this confusion state, this isolated state. But if you can see that happens, if you can, I call it like seeing the crazy. I see my own crazy. If I can see my own crazy, i.e. by putting it onto the page, it's like, oh, I'm doing that thing again. That ambiguous look that someone gave me is ambiguity. It's nothing but my fear, my imagination, the anxiety tells me it's dangerous. My past tells me it's dangerous. But I've written about that. I've processed it. I see it now. It's not that dangerous. A it's just an example of my brain being overactive. But the more I write, the more I express, the more I process that anxiety, that issue, those sort of crazy thoughts, the better I'm able to see them in real time. Sort of like an active detachment or mindfulness almost. Yeah. Taking it out of your brain onto the page, and you've got a little bit of a breath to be able to see it moving forward.
A lot of what we're doing through the 3-day immersion, basically it's acting like a circuit breaker. So, for me, when I'm doing an online course at home, I'm still looking around the place. I'm still seeing all the laundry that needs to be done and, looking at the time, thinking, oh, okay, we've got to get dinner on. And there's still all these thoughts. There's still all these everyday chores that sort of don't allow me to fully engage in what's going on. So by going to a really beautiful, area like Glenmaggie, having somebody cook really great nutritious food for you, where you don't have to worry about that sort of stuff, provides that circuit breaker where you can just feel connected with like-minded people who are on a journey just like you. And everybody is there rooting for you. Like, you can get up and be vulnerable. You can get up and share and dig deep and find that stuckness and, take whatever serves you to move on and move through and break that box. So I'm absolutely stoked that you're going to be one of our mentors, Zach, because we are going to create just the most beautiful environment for people that are wanting to move, to break the box, to have the opportunity to do that. So, Zach, how does poetry and writing help people move beyond their limitations?
It allows you to see, like, how does poetry move you beyond your limitations? It allows you to see what those limitations are. It's often very hard to get some distance between yourself from yourself, right? You're in your eyes, you're seeing, and you're just doing. But if you can start to detach, to express, to explore, you're turning the camera inwards a little bit, and that gives you the opportunity to heal and then to grow, and then to see opportunities where you need to heal and grow. And that might mean reading books, taking courses, doing certain self-care, all of that sort of stuff. But it just gives you a bit of insight. And, like the writing process itself it's a form of creation and self-discovery coming together. And after you've written a piece of poetry, after you've expressed it, there's a synergy there. There's a growth there that comes. It's like, yes, the poem might be coming from you as an expression of you, but it also grows you. You are different after you've expressed yourself, if that makes sense. You've solidified something, so it gives you a little bit more solid ground to step off for the next part of your life.
So, Zach, what unique gift are you going to bring to people participating in the 3-day immersion?
What I'll bring to people is the opportunity to turn the camera inwards, to look inside, and to be able to express what's going on there inside, to be able to pull out some of the inner demons and put them onto the page. And that in turn will help people to realize that whilst scary, they're less dangerous than you thought. It'll give you an opportunity to heal from your past, to grow, to see what's going on in your mind. And also beyond all of that, to unlock the power of words, the power of creativity, to be able to express what's going on rather than just holding it in and bottling it up and stewing on it, to be able to sit, and then, ideally in a way that moves people. The goal of poetry, the goal of art in general, is to cause an emotional reaction. I think first in the artist, and then in the viewer, in the person consuming the art. So get it out of your head, onto the page, heal, and then maybe move and connect. There's a lot of moving parts here, but I mean, I guess it depends on how deep and how far and how much you want to express down that path. The benefits will come.
And I suppose we all have a choice. I mean, quite happily, we could sit in our box if that's what we choose to do, or we can go, you know what? There's more. There's so much more. And
Well,
outside the box is scary, absolutely. But hey, with I think with three really great mentors and a safe space and a good community, then I think anything's possible. And it's just how much are you willing to put in? What you put in is, you could get back in absolute spades. So, but it's like that old saying where there was a guy saying, "Oh, geez, I really wish I won the tax lotto," and then like his mate turns and goes, "Well, you know you're going to buy a ticket first, don't you? Like, if you're going to win, you've actually got to invest in it. You've actually got to like put your hat in the ring and say, yeah, I'm going to give this a crack."
100%.
That's what we're inviting people to do. We're giving people the opportunity to come along, throw their hat in the ring, and see what's there for them.
So the poem is called "Can't Quite Express," and it's got a little bit of a story to it. The main thing that I've sort of, as we've discussed in this interview, that I want to sort of work through in my mind is sort of overcoming the past, breaking through those boxes. One of the issues in my past was of neglect. Now, all forms of abuse are hard, but for me, neglect is uniquely challenging because it's the absence, it's the lack, it's a constant discovery of things that you didn't even know about yourself, about the world, about existence, sort of coming up. And I keep sort of circling this idea of what does it mean to where is this hole? What's inside that hole of nothingness where my father should have been, for lack of a better expression. So I originally wrote this poem, I think 7-8 years ago, and then since then it's turned into a 7,000 word epic poem that I've released separately. But I'm going to release I'm going to share with you the original like 120 word poem called "Can't Quite Express." And after this 120 words, after the 7,000 words, I still couldn't quite pin it down directly, but that's sort of the point. Okay, that's it. So "Can't Quite Express." There are things I want to say, but just can't quite express. Ruminations and meditations that I'm too afraid to address. Like the veil over my eyes that keeps me hidden from the stress, to the dark wishes I'm fighting to suppress. Like the fear and anxiety that I'll constantly transgress, to the past expressions that I'm never going to confess. Like how everything I do gives me nothing but duress, to the unwavering ache and torment that's causing me to regress. I must profess I desire to express my stress, confess to address this abscess, to obsess on happiness, to aim for excess, and to stop living like a fucked up mess. Yes, I want to make progress, but there are just some things I can't quite express.
Wow.
What I want to give you is the ability to see your mind, to be able to express it and then refine it, to be able to use words to heal, to connect, and then to move other people, should you wish it. That's a skill set that will be directly related to breaking out of the boxes of your past, to overcoming trauma, to healing, to growing, to all of those things. But beyond that, it will lead to benefits down the line, relationships with other people, work opportunities, social opportunities, all of these things. The more you understand yourself, the more you'll be able to interact with the world in a way that leads you towards your goals, whatever those goals are. If you can understand the trap that you're in, the box that you're in, and we all are, if you can see the background narratives, the words, the sort of what would I say, the what's that word, the rituals, the programming of your past. If you can see the programming that is in the background just impacting how you interact with yourself, with the world, if you can unlock that, if you can get it onto the page and see it, wow, like that will give you the ability to take your life in dramatically improved, better ways in whatever way that means for you. And if that just means that you learn how to just not feel so stressed because you've got an outlet, great. If that means that you learn how to talk to other people, to connect, to grow, to form new relationships, business opportunities, whatever it is, then also awesome. It's just giving you the ability to turn the camera inwards, see it, express, and give you a bit of distance from it in a positive way, positive attachment onto the page.
By going in, clear the noise. By going through the feelings, you'll make it out. By going